connected to a prior illegal biolab investigation in Reedley, California in 2023. Good afternoon. I'm Sheriff Kevin McMahill with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. With me today is the Special Agent in charge of the Las Vegas FBI Field Office, Christopher Delzato, and the Clark County Fire Chief, Billy Samuels. You'll hear from all three of us. I want to provide a more detailed update and walk you through how this investigation unfolded. Just a little over a week ago, LVMPD received limited information indicating that laboratory equipment and potentially hazardous materials were being stored at a residence in the northeast part of our town. As our investigation progressed, we determined that the home was owned by the same individual connected to a prior illegal biolab investigation in Reedley, California that occurred in 2023. The nature of that earlier investigation raised significant concern for what we might encounter in this new case. In Reedley, investigators reportedly discovered an illegal biolab containing materials possibly associated with a range of infectious diseases, including hepatitis, COVID, HIV, malaria, and other potentially dangerous pathogens. While it is unknown whether similar materials were present here at the Las Vegas residence, the possibility required us to proceed with extreme caution. Because of these concerns, LVMPD's counterterrorism section and our armored task force, in partnership with the FBI, immediately initiated a joint investigation and began developing detailed operational plans to address this potential threat. Out of an abundance of caution, extensive preparations were made, resources were mobilized from across Clark County, the city of Las Vegas, as well as our other state and federal partners, to include some from outside of our region, to ensure that this operation could be conducted safely. The main suspect in this case, who you're going to see a photograph on the screen next to me here in just a second, is the owner of the house on Sugar Springs Drive. He's already in federal custody on charges related to the investigation of the biolab in Reedley, California in 2023.
Behind every worn-out house is an opportunity to create income, build wealth, and impact your community. As the top...
I'm sorry.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, what we are finding out is they've been finding these biolabs right in people's houses in America. So, and now it makes sense, you know. I think it's finally struck all of America. And they're so shocked within Congress and Senate. You know, they just keep putting their heads down saying, how can this happen? You know, it's pretty dang easy when you got people attacking people with witchery, sorcery, magic, curses, and everything. How do you fight magic? You wipe everyone out. Therefore, there ain't no magic to be done. And that's exactly what they're doing to America, folks. You know? Yeah, I got attacked too last night in my sleep. Woke me up out of my sleep. What is it? I don't know. A dead person, a curse, someone doing something in our sleeps or whatever, magic or whatever. Return to sender, Lord, and also throw a vial of this stuff in their cities. Return the sender, the magic, and return their sickness back to them and their diseases or whatever they're spreading around. They're saying they found all kinds of stuff in these vials, all kinds of bad stuff. But let's continue to watch this. You know, we can do this all day, folks. All you could do is sit back and watch the body count happen. You know, churches will be hit. So it's been spread all throughout. Bios are something you can't see, taste, or smell. So. I imagine they contaminated everything, the churches, everything.
So that's not the main suspect. This is the main suspect in the California case. The primary suspect we arrested, however, is Mr. Ari Solomon. He's 55 years old, and his initial charge was a charge of disposing and discharging hazardous waste. Solomon is believed to be the property manager for both houses on Sugar Springs and Temple View. As previously briefed, the first phase of this operation began early Saturday morning. You're going to start to see a number of images from this as I talk. At approximately 5:51, our LVMPD SWAT team served a search warrant at the residence on Sugar Springs Drive. There were 3 individuals inside of that home. Each had independently rented a room from the property owner. They were safely removed from the residence, and at this time, they are not involved in this investigation. Based on the information we received, investigators believe that the locked garage was the primary location of the potential biological and hazardous materials. The search warrant was authored by LVMPD's counterterrorism section, and our multi-agency teams began preparing to deploy to the scene. To safely manage the risk, a layered use of technology, as you see here to my left, was employed throughout this operation. LVMPD police drones were deployed from the onset, providing a real-time aerial and situational awareness as SWAT secured the residence. Drone feeds were monitored remotely, allowing commanders to assess conditions, adjust tactics, and limit officer exposure in real time. We also employed our robot dog. Before we entered the room, the tactical robot was deployed to clear the interior and conduct initial air sampling. The robot can open doors, navigate stairs, and transmit video in real time, allowing officers to assess the conditions before entering a dangerous environment. Once this residence was cleared, LVMPD's Armor team entered the scene. Armor, for those of you that don't know, is our all-hazard regional multi-agency operations and response unit. They do all of the gamut of the CBRNE. Wearing protective equipment, including respirators, the team drilled a small access point into the interior door leading to the garage and inserted a probe to assess air quality. A pinhole camera was also deployed, transmitting live video to the command post and to our Fusion Watch Operations Center here at headquarters. Almost immediately, investigators observed multiple refrigerators, a freezer, and other laboratory-type equipment, along with numerous bottles and jugs containing unknown liquids.
All right, so these labs are all over America, folks. East Coast, Central, South, and they were put in place a while ago. And the government just refused to listen. They just refused to listen. And what you're seeing is the remnants of it, you know. You got people making nuclear reactors in their basements. Boy, we had to shut down that one in Ohio. Lost a lot of property out there, a lot of homes. Still today can't live in that neighborhood. The whole neighborhood shut down. Numerous areas are being quarantined off because they're contaminated. Yeah, that was something that your drones, you know, we told you the drones are going to be so good for sniffing out stuff, but they ain't going to be able to smell this. So you can't use drones. You know, and this is, I believe this is punishment for what not they only did to you, they did to me. Well, magic, use your magic. Pretty soon there ain't going to be no one in America to use magic on us anymore, or witchery or sorcery. So this has all been going on. Can they say they can't stop shit? They ain't got a clue. They're worried about protecting their asses from stealing from us. This has all been tragic, or whatever they call it, placed in America. You can try and stop it, but I suggest you folks prepare for what's coming. It's obvious. It's a biological war within our borders. They can't stop nothing. I wish they could. I wish we could sleep. You know, I wish we could sleep in peace and not have to lock our doors, and you know, we didn't get attacked by magic or whatever these people are doing. You Really, I don't care what they're doing anymore. War has been declared in America. It's obvious they're stomping the shits out of you. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time, and this stuff will spread like wildfire across America. And there ain't a dang thing they could do about it. They should have listened. They don't listen. You know, they all suffer from God syndrome. I guess this might be, everyone's saying it's from God. Well, then we don't want to worship that God no more. That's making people suffer and they're torturing and gassing. We already been through that God. His name was Hitler. We don't need this in our country. But let's continue to watch this madness unfold. And it is going to unfold, folks. We're trying to warn people. It's too late for me. These people have sucked the life out of me. But for you folks, there might be. Get underground, do something. Run. I don't know what to do. I'm dead myself.
Substances. These items, importantly, were consistent in appearance to the items found and described in the Reedley, California lab investigation. After initial assessments were completed, the Armor team escorted FBI scientists and specialized evidence collection team into the garage. Investigators observed one refrigerator that was still opening and wrapped in the household plastic wrap, along with the freezer that was plugged in and running. You'll see some of that in that video. When the refrigerator and freezer were opened, our investigators identified a significant volume of material, including various vials and storage containers with liquids of different colors and compositions. Additional containers were located throughout the garage, along with laboratory equipment and other specialized items. The scene presented a high level of complexity with materials that have not been yet identified, and still require careful assessment. Some items appeared consistent with biological and chemical storage, which necessitated additional precautions. The operation required multiple carefully controlled entries into potentially contaminated areas, and each entry involved strict safety protocols and extensive decontamination procedures for personnel. And we also have to decontaminate all of the equipment each time it comes out and goes back in. As a result, the operation was conducted in a slow, methodical manner. To maximize safety and visibility, large-scale evidence collection was prioritized during daylight hours on Sunday, while additional.
Wow, what a mess. What a mess. I do believe that's what's strickening this town. This little town all the sickness keeps popping up. I'm like, yeah, someone in town is doing something. And this is pretty much what it is, right? Homemade biological labs. And we know they're real because they're all over America. And we knew we knew these people were making nuclear reactors and plutonium and all this stuff in their basements. And people ask, well, how does this happen? I don't know. How does Jonestown exist? Right? How they using magic and witchery and sorcery and everything? Who knows? Who knows? But now you need boots on the ground and you got to attack. It's obvious. It's obvious what was going on in the United States. You got to lock it down. Now, this guy's talking. People have been paying him in America. It's affiliated to these white people probably and some of these higher up Illuminati, whatever. All colors are involved. It's crazy. It's crazy. But we warned them. And, they obviously didn't care. So I'm agreeing with a lot of people. Don't pay your taxes. Don't even listen to what the police, the authorities are saying, because they work for the people that are covering it up. It's sad. They tried to cover this up. I mean, there's all kinds of people getting sick out there. California, Los Angeles, on the East Coast. down in Florida, down south. Yeah, I mean, all the signs are there. I don't care no more, Lord. I really don't. Not after last night, the attack I got in the middle of my sleep woke me up. I don't know what it is. Either someone trespassing or magic or someone pissed off or whatever. But, this is what happens when the people stand up. Maybe the government's right. Maybe, the government put out that thing. They have enough weapons now to take on God. And maybe they are. Maybe it's time we're tired of the punishments and watching our people and country sink. So it might be a blaze of glory this year. But it's obvious. I'm not going to lie to the American people. These labs are every place in America, folks. It's our freedoms from what the government said.
Additional investigative work and coordination continued overnight. Evidence collection was completed at approximately 6:30 p.m. on Sunday. At the same time, the collected items were transported to a Southern Nevada Health District facility for temporary temperature-controlled storage. The final phase of the operation began focusing on the remediation of the target location. A professional remediation team was contacted to conduct that work, which we completed at approximately 2:30 this morning. Following remediation, final site checks were conducted, all of our units were demobilized, and the scene was cleared. This morning, the evidence was transported to an FBI lab for testing. I'm now going to turn it over to our exceptional special agent in charge, Christopher Delzato, who's going to provide a status on the update of the investigation and outline our next steps. Chris?
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Again, Chris Delzato, I'm the special agent in charge of our FBI office here in Las Vegas. As I stated in Saturday's press conference, the FBI plays a crucial role in supporting our state and local law enforcement partners on a regular basis, providing resources and innovative capabilities to assist in our investigations. This weekend, our evidence response teams, our scientific response analysis unit, our technical hazards response unit, and our hazardous evidence response team played pivotal roles in this joint investigation. These highly trained and equipped teams perform reconnaissance and site characterization, decontamination, and evidence in hazardous environments. As you can see on the screen, and as observed in the scrolling footage, our FBI scientists have been diligently collaborating with agents and Metro detectives throughout the weekend and during the recovery and sampling process.
Well, what we can tell is there's a lot of these biolabs in Indiana. It's been all over the news for many, many years that these certain groups, clubs, whatever, were dabbling in the biological realm. And folks, the only ones you have to blame is your government. That's the only ones you have to blame right now. They have failed to do their jobs. We warned them. We told them. And they just didn't want to listen. And this is the repercussions. Yeah, they're all over the country, folks. I'm not going to lie to you, folks. These people can give two shits about your country, your children, and your world. And this is what happens. I can't lie to these people. Your country made some bad calls, very bad calls. And there's probably going to be millions and millions that pass from this. They just didn't want to listen to God. Blame your country, folks. and your governments.
Initial search of the garage at the Sugar Springs residence identified a biosafety hood, a biosafety sticker, centrifuge, multiple refrigerators, red, brown, unknown liquids in gallon-sized containers, and refrigerated vials with unknown liquids. More than 1,000 samples were collected, stored safely, and secured safely at the Southern Nevada Health District Laboratory. Early this morning, all samples were carefully loaded into an FBI aircraft for transportation to the National Bioforensic Analysis Center in Maryland.
Wow, this is unreal. That ain't meth they're cooking there, folks. That definitely is not meth. I don't know what it is. It's gonna make it's already a movie being worked on, and that's what this country does. Is I try to tell people movies are real. You know, they're not real when we're making them, right? All the effects and everything is not real. Well, the effects and everything of it, you know, but the storyline itself, you know, is real. And they're probably making movies on this as we speak right now. What do? Well, you got to bring in teams. I hate to say it, you got to go you got to go door to door. You got to have boots on the ground going door to door, checking places for homemade biolabs, right? Just like you caught that one kid making a nuclear reactor in his basement in his shed in Ohio or whatever out here, which contaminated. But we don't know how much it contaminated yet. The kid left a trail wherever he went, plutonium radiation, bio waste. So we have no idea how many people are contaminated or whatever, you know. But this is what it is in America. Probably for them allowing this magic and witchery to happen. I heard someone say something about the military was using magic or witchery or something like that. Or seeing, I'm like, yeah, it's over with, folks. Right? They start dabbling in that. It's just going to be a matter of time before America's over with. Now look at, yeah. And there's a couple of these people in my little town here. They're talking about taking the whole town out. You might have to, Trump. You might have to. You might have to. I don't know. They're using us like guinea pigs probably around in America. So who knows? All right, let's continue to listen to this. Right, this was just released a couple days ago. Now, they did find a guy in California that had one of these labs. And they've been tracking all of his houses. And they found another house in Vegas. And I think you're going to find them all over America and everything. Yeah, pretty sad.
We recognize that the public is seeking clarity. What were they testing for? What possibilities are being considered? However, as the sheriff mentioned, in cases like this, our process relies on being slow and methodical. From the collection of evidence to the testing of the samples, the process the FBI laboratory personnel engage in requires systemized, measured steps that cannot be rushed. I would like to express my sincere gratitude to everyone involved in the operation this weekend. When I was informed of my selection as a special agent in charge here in Las Vegas, I recognized the positive reputation that the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department had, but quickly learned more about their state-of-the-art fusion center. It is fitting that they were honored as Fusion Center of the Year by the National Fusion Center Association, distinguishing it as a top-tier industry-leading, and highly effective 24/7 intelligence hub. I was profoundly impressed by the impact of the partnerships in action during this extensive operation. This weekend marked the
Well, there ain't no legal operation going on when you're talking about top tiers. That's all prison talk, idiot. It's all prison talk. Yeah. Well, some of us are going to step back and let this guy come in and do what he's got to do in America, because we're not going to, we don't want to be, we're already poisoned and brainwashed, MK Ultra or not. So can they stop it? No, they can't stop it. I can give two craps what these people are saying. They're the best of the best. You ain't shit. You let your country down all for the money and the nookie and the vagina. You let kids die. You attack, people are, I even mentioned a God to some people and they're like, he's an effing baby killer. Killed millions of people and they don't want to worship anybody. Yeah, it's gone crazy. Let it go crazy. I don't care. And a man that has no care in the world has no care. I can give two craps. What do? I suggest you lock down Indiana, because there's rumors coming around that someone around here has been sleeping in the devil's bed. Of course, last night we beheaded the devil, but we'll continue to do what we're doing in this country until, I don't know, until they raise the dead or whatever, heal these people. I don't know, but we're not getting in the way of these people. Ain't my job. Now, of course, if I made $450,000 a year like the president, then I'd be, worried about this. But I'm just an idiot. They keep calling me an idiot, and I keep saying your world's coming to an end. They keep saying that. Well, who cares? We're rich, whatever. But it won't be long, folks. I was watching little Miss Alex Erickson last night, and she was saying it won't be long, folks. Now, and she might know something. It won't be long now. And summer's coming here in a month or two. Heat brings sickness. Why do I say that? Because sickness thrives in warm weather. When it's cold, it goes dormant. And so welcome to our world. And I imagine it's going to get ugly in America. I mean, The Simpsons predicted all this already. I don't know. I suggest you deal with these cults, these clubs. It's been tracked. The same people that are doing this are in America paying these people to do it, so they don't get their hands dirty. So, yeah, you got a problem in Indiana. I would say so. There's people dying everywhere. Of course, they're not reporting it, but that's all part of their plan or whatever. I don't know. It's just gone crazy. But folks, I'm not going to lie to you. These labs are everywhere. If I told you the numbers, you would flip out. They're everywhere. Also, biological nuclear stuff being worked on. That's right out of garages and basements. Yeah. But you want the proof? Look it up on the internet. Now, these things are happening right around us. I don't care. I'm in pain anyway, so just keep pushing forward. No rest for these people. They're very wicked.
first occasion on which I witnessed these capabilities firsthand, and our office is privileged to be part of the collaboration dedicated to serving Southern Nevada. I would like to express my gratitude to the extensive partnerships involved in this case. Thank you all again for the components from Metro, Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, the Clark County Fire Department, the 92nd Civil Support Team from Carson City, the Southern Nevada Health District Lab, and FBI employees from the FBI lab in Quantico, as well as employees from the Los Angeles, Phoenix, and Sacramento FBI offices. Next, I'd like to introduce Fire Chief Billy Samuels from Las Vegas Fire.
If you're trying to stay lean and jacked and athletic from the comfort of your own home, I have something.
That's County Fire. All right, good afternoon. Billy Samuels from Clark County Fire. Kind of talk about who all was involved in this this past weekend and highlighting the relationships that we have with local, state, and federal partners. That's to include the Las Vegas Fire and Rescue, North Las Vegas Fire Department, Henderson Fire Department. As they mentioned, the Nevada National Guard, the 92nd Civil Support Team, they're responsible for that CBRN, that chemical, biological, radiation, and nuclear investigations. The 9th CST from Southern California assisted. Obviously, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department did had an amazing role. FBI, SNCTC, and the Fusion Center, as they mentioned, what an amazing class.
This is just too much for me, Lord. I'm out. I'm done. I don't want to do nothing. This is just too much. These labs are within where our children at play, parents and everything. It's too late. Too late. Son of a. I think they should all be executed. I really do. But, I don't have a say-so in this world or whatever, but, they were told. And like I said, folks, we got them here in this little apartment complex and everything. The government fails to handle the situation. You can call the police all day, folks. It don't matter. They got the phones routed or something. You're tough. Yeah, what just so crazy. There's talk of we might have to take your town out, Johnny. I'm like, take it out. What do you want from me? What do you sacrifice myself for this world? Take the whole effing town out if you have to. And that's probably what we're going to have to be doing. You got to fire bomb fuel. It's contaminated. Burn it while you can, Trump. I don't know if this has anything to do with the Lord or not. But by the time they're done with this and all the MK Ultra I went through and brainwashing, it'll be your people's fault. No one else's. Not the people we pay $500,000 a year to. This is what happens when you let big business and country and everything. Yeah, you should have built a wall all the way around America, no one in, no one out. And you should have started the shredding machine up and started throwing these people into the machine. It's just crazy. Just crazy. There was no love no more for anything. It's just gone crazy. And all it takes is one person, one child to get contaminated and then go to school or the playgrounds, and boom, it spreads like wildfire. And that's the data we're showing. Whether the government wants to realize it, admit it, or lie to you stone cold, America. I'm not going to lie to these people, Lord. It's over with.
Operation that they have there. Brett Compton, the Division of Emergency Management Chief for the Nevada Homeland Security, the District Attorney's Office from Clark County, and the United States Attorney's Office. Emphasis needs to be placed upon the continued partnership that we have, not just for this incident, but everything this Valley experiences is done in collaboration with our partners. Whether it's a planned event or natural or man-made disaster, the dedication from each agency continues to impress me. The greatest word that I can think of is trust. Now, I want to talk about the decontamination process that you're seeing right there. We'll have a decon unit there for the entire incident. It's there for decontaminating those that are working and ensuring their ensembles are removed and packaged properly. This also consists of the rehabilitation and medical standby for those working. This ensures we are not having any cross-contamination from the inside of the scene to the responder to the rest of the people in the warm and cold zones.
What a mess. What a mess. Well, they're not going to be able to clean it all up or anything. It's contaminated, folks. Probably that whole neighborhood, that whole area. They just don't want to admit it. They just don't want to admit it. Well, payback. That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing is payback for all the bullshit. Well, maybe, I don't know. It's going to make a great movie, though. And that's what this channel does. I can get on here and act all day. And that's just it, acting with us. It's real life with these people. It's pretty sad. But that's the way it is. These people don't learn. They continue to bring this country down with magic or, witchery, praising the devil and everything. When you give people freedoms like that, and you can't arrest this guy, that's his freedoms. To have a biological lab in his house. It's like your freedoms to have weapons and all kinds of stuff. In America, you have the right to. It's your right. If you choose to destroy your society and that's your right. It's pretty idiotic ology or whatever they call it, but truth smacks you in the face and you know, whether you see it, fix it, or whatever, but it's too late. They can't. You got to go door to door. There's millions of these labs in America. I don't know. They just don't want to listen. You got to have boots on the ground, and you got to go door to door looking for these labs. And I'm telling you, there's millions of them. Just like there was hundreds of millions of people working on biological radiation in their homes and everything. Yeah. I don't know. It's pretty crazy.
All this costs a lot of money, as you can imagine. And while local agencies fund some programs, it is a large financial responsibility that is where the federal government assists. A large grant program within the federal government called the Homeland Security Grant Program. And for us, we work under the UASI, the Urban Area Security Initiative, where we get some of these funding. We're grateful for this opportunity that we received this. And over the last 5 years, here are some of the agencies in which the UASI funded that were actually integral in this response. That was from the Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center. We were able to receive a little over $4 million for their efforts. LVMPD Armor, as Sheriff mentioned, has a little over $1 million. Southern Nevada Health District and their public health analysts that we have assigned to the Fusion Center, a little over $500,000. Las Vegas Fire and Rescue and their Seaburn Hazmat Unit, that was $365,000. And the Clark County Fire Department for a total of $700,000. All those efforts were used this last weekend. It does take a team effort. In closing, I'm going to turn it back over to the sheriff.
Well, I think what they did is they connected these labs to these organizations. These organizations were connected to government, mayors, cities, even higher ups, Oval Office and stuff like that. So the base of it, they're saying, pretty much is coming out of Indiana. And I told you before, there's more than corn in Indiana. They got witches, warlocks out here doing stuff in the woods and everything. Clubs, biker clubs or whatever, gone crazy. And whenever you catch them, they're running their mouths about the government. This is a government mission. This is the government. I'm like, what? You gotta be kidding me. It's the government. And that's the problem is you should have dealt with it when we gave you the chance to deal with it, Trump. This summer, I imagine you're going to have people running motorcycle dudes off of the ground and opening up fire at them, using semis to run them over, I heard. All remote controlled semis and everything. It's going to be a war with these pedo bikers or whatever they're calling themselves. Who knows? I know they're wrapped up in the. So it's just crazy. And we're going to continue to make movies there. And the movies are real. We're smacking the government and the world in the face with reality. Movies that you can't tell people, oh, screw you. You know, these people are on their deathbeds. If they want to tell us exactly which one of you idiots are doing it, they can. A lot of these people, these YouTubers that are getting in trouble, been running their mouths. And there's more of these YouTubers in that sector over there. I think you all know what sector I'm talking about. That are going to be doing time, folks. A lot of these people broke the laws and they're trying to get out of it. And it's a bunch of them. No, I don't want to tell you, but yeah, some of them have pedo photo and it's a ring. Big giant pedo madness thing, much like the Delphi case, Summerwell's case, all that stuff. And you know, the whole Ernie Shell episode, him talking about the bikers and all he knew Sonny Bulger and everything from the Hells Angels. But what a mess you created. But whoever these people are that came with all this biological stuff in America are here probably to get rid of the, America's doomed. I would guess. I don't know. I don't know. We're just making movies and content.
I'm sure you have some questions, but thank you for this opportunity, sir.
I just add a couple comments, and as Chief Samuels mentioned, the cooperation amongst our first responder community here in Southern Nevada is truly exceptional. We've done this over and over and over again. This operation is not possible without that coordination and the professionalism of all of those partners, working seamlessly towards a common goal. Investigation also reflects how law enforcement has evolved, and LVMPD now operates one of the most advanced technology platforms anywhere in the world. From drones and robotics to real-time intelligence and remote command capabilities, technology played a critical role in allowing us to assess risk to protect personnel and to move quickly without compromising safety.
Yeah, you might want to go to the hospital yourself, idiot. You ain't thinking straight. You can't even talk. And this is the repercussions of the madness that we live amongst. I don't think we should be paying the government anything. They should be paying the United States citizens. And someone get this Mitchell guy to the hospital and get him checked out. Yeah, this is going to be ugly, folks.
I'll tell you that this incident was completed remarkably fast for what it was that we dealt with out there. How quickly they were able to move and do this safely. It's really mind-blowing, quite frankly.
Well, it is mind-blowing because you'll stop there. You won't go door to door, will you? We're here to check for biological contamination or anything. And you'll let it end there. You got one lab, one stinking lab. There's probably 17, 20 more around that area. And that's the problem. You let one get, we got the guy. What about the other 150,000 that were helping him? Well, well, then that's why this continues in our country. This is why it continues. You pull one guy off the street and you leave it at that. You wait for the next disaster before you send in your team. This was a mission. Your mission should be going door to door. But you ain't going to do that mission because you only do your jobs when you have to. The rest of the time you're sitting on your asses, getting a government check, citizen check. and the rest of us suffer. I don't know. This will all be in the movie, folks.
Since becoming sheriff, I've also made Homeland Security a top priority. We have some of the best counterterrorism hazmat units in the country, and we do not take shortcuts when it comes to protecting our community. Whether the threat is real, it's known, unknown, criminal.
Well, that was a lie, because if you were as good as you said, you would have caught it before they spread all over the place. I'm calling FUBAR on that, Mitchell.
Environmental, local, or international, our responsibility is to be ready and respond decisively. I want to thank a couple of gentlemen that are standing over here, in particular, Deputy Chief Chris Holmes, the Executive Director of the Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center, Carrie Underwood, and our Counterterrorism Lieutenant, Cody Thompson. These were some very, very long days leading multidiscipline approach teams, and you all did it exceptionally well. So thank you very much. I also like to say thanks to the residents in the neighborhood. This is a scary moment. They were very patient and cooperative over the weekend. I know there was a lot of fear and anxiety as this unfolded literally right outside of their homes. I do not take that lightly. I want to reassure you that everything has been remediated and there's no safety concern in the house or the neighborhood. With that, I'll take a few questions. And I'd just like to say, there are aspects of this investigation that we don't know the answer to. So we're trying to be as transparent about everything it is that we know, and we will answer your question if we can. David?
Thank you for taking my question. With what we know about the California connection and what you have found in that house so far, is there anything you can say at this point about whether you think this was nefarious in any way, if this was potential act of terror? I mean, people don't just have vials of biological material in their house. So
Yeah.
what do we think these people were doing?
So the question is what do we think these people were doing with those substances in the house? And I'll tell you, the truth is we don't know yet. We're actually looking to see as we move forward in this investigation how to answer all of those questions. I certainly have them as well. But the reality of it is we had an operational period that we were working around the clock for multiple days. We've safely remediated that part of it. Now the tough part of the investigation moves forward. That's where we're at with it, and we're going to continue that.
And this side of the question more for FBI. This person who owns this home is connected to that lab in California. Searched before, and why was it searched now?
Was it ever searched before? I don't know that I could comment on that, or I have knowledge of that. It was searched over the weekend because of intelligence gathered and other means of corroboration of that intelligence. That's why, in partnership with Las Vegas Metro, we executed state search warrants to ensure even an allegation of biohazardous material, right? You're talking about a serious allegation. So you don't want to risk, whether it's true or not, something like that being contained in a neighborhood. So I think, we took our time, we accumulated the right resources, the real subject matter experts, biologists and whatnot, to properly conduct an analysis of what was in that garage. And, there's a lot of things that we recovered in that garage that we safely packaged and sent to the lab. We don't know what they are yet. We'll let the subject matter experts do their analysis, which will take some time, and then we'll report back on what those results are. Sir?
I wanted to see, is there any knowledge that this Mr. Sullivan or anybody else who may have been in or outside of that garage has any expertise when it comes to operating a biolab or how to handle those materials without it spreading?
We have no knowledge that he had any expertise or is in that area, or he's somewhat of a trained biologist. No.
Or any other individual that may have gone in and out?
Not at this time, no.
Running has always been my thing. But after having my
Sure.
On the more than 1,000 samples that were collected, I understand that they have not been identified at this time, but is there any timeline on when you'll have a clearer picture on it?
Yeah, I anticipated that question. Again, this is a methodical process that has to follow a lot of lab procedure and protocol. I'm not a trained biologist. The sheriff isn't a trained biologist. So we'll let the lab technicians and the SMEs do whatever they need to do, and they'll report it. And when we have something, we'll certainly report that back.
For the sheriff, you mentioned that Ori Solomon was the property manager of the house on Sugar Springs and also on Temple View. Did you discuss whether or not Metro investigated the house on Temple View or what they found there?
Yeah, so the question is Mr. Solomon was the manager of the house on both Sugar Springs and Temple View. And had we found anything in the Temple View address? I apologize. I didn't address that today because I did that previously, but the FBI conducted the warrant simultaneous on Temple View as when Metro hit Sugar Springs. There were a number of people inside of that residence. We have zero connection between the two addresses as far as this investigation goes. Go ahead.
What do you know about his involvement? Why did you arrest him? I mean, I know the charge, but what do you allege that he did as part of this whole thing that led to his arrest?
Yeah, so we can, you want to go cover that part? Okay.
First off, he's arrested on state charges. Mr. Solomon, he is the property manager for both the locations that we searched this weekend. He was charged. What was the state charge exactly again?
Hazmat, right?
Yeah, it was how he disposed or the lack of following procedure around how he processed those materials in the house, and that was the local charge.
So he'll likely face federal charges, right? So the federal charges are going to say that he did what?
We're not ready to talk about federal charges. I think the focus of this weekend was the health and well-being of the community, focusing on processing the evidence. I think the investigation, as the sheriff alluded to, will hopefully illuminate some of those answers. But again, the focus of this 48-hour period was systematically breaking down that house, processing what was in there, and getting the test results. Obviously, the investigation is just starting now. So,
Go ahead.
My question, I'm not sure actually which one of y'all would be better to address this, but are there concerns to look for other houses or properties in the valley that could also be involved in this? And if someone happens to think that their neighbor or somebody is involved in it, would it be best for them to contact Metro, call 911, contact the FBI?
Yeah, the question is, there's other residences or businesses that are concerning or connected with this individual. I can tell you that there are a number of locations that we thought could potentially be associated with Mr. Solomon, and we've ruled all of those out as being connected to this particular investigation. The second part of that question was, who should the public contact if they believe that they've come in contact with this individual, either the FBI or Metro? You feel free to give either one of them a call. Sir?
Yeah, Joanne, here with Channel 13. Do you know if anybody was exposed to any of the material inside the home, like specifically the people living at the home? And also, how did Mr. Solomon dispose of this material?
So the question is there any exposure to anybody that was in the home, to include our first responders? The answer to that is no. And there's a certain means and method that you have to dispose of this material, and that did not occur within that. We can provide a little bit more insight on that after the press conference. Anybody else?
Was there any indication that Mr. Zhu or Mr. Hurd, any of the alias that they go under, would have had any contact with Mr. Solomon from behind federal bars or currently in federal custody?
Yeah, we're not prepared to answer whether there's any connections between that case and our case at this point, but I can promise you that is one of the areas that we are looking at.
Is there a timeline for when investigators are expecting these substances to be tested and get an understanding about what these substances are?
Yeah, the question is the timeline, and that's what we addressed. We don't know yet. I can tell you we're pushing very hard because we want to know as well. And we will provide you the update on additional charges as well as what those substances are in the near future. Last one, go ahead. You.
Mary Keeler, Channel 13. Just to reiterate to people who have been asking lots of questions on our social media as this has all been unfolding, there was not and there is not any danger in the air quality or even the water supply in that area.
So the question is there any danger in the air quality or the water supply? We did all of that testing and there's zero threat to the public. It was contained within that garage, and we'll provide you some updates as we get them. Thank you.
Here's something most drivers don't know. The older your car, the cheaper your insurance should be.
Coverage now of the suspected biolab operating inside a home in a Las Vegas neighborhood. An arrest report on the property manager was just released. The report suggests that this operation may have been in the works for a while.
And in about 3 minutes, we'll have a full report on how the Vegas biolab is connected to the lab found in Reedley. For now, Will Silverstein from our sister station in Las Vegas brings us more tonight.
Multiple refrigerators, red, brown, unknown liquids in gallon-sized containers, and refrigerated vials with unknown liquids.
That is what FBI and Las Vegas Metro teams uncovered over the course of a 3-day ground operation on a home off of Sugar Springs Drive in Northeast Las Vegas. The FBI and Metro giving media an update on the.
Well, our question is do we believe the government and the authorities that this is no longer a threat? But what they're explaining in this video, this reddish brownish substance, sounds like reports that we were getting out of Indiana, that people were being injected with this stuff. They were being told it was for something else, but literally these people were getting sick. So do we believe the government, or has this stuff that they got all in vials or whatever that they had, lab doctor vials, medicine bottles, all kinds of stuff, was any of that introduced into the public supply of doctors and stuff like that? Were they supplying doctors with this stuff? Either hospitals or doctors with this stuff. Did it get mixed up with, other medicine or vaccines or whatever they thought it was, and people were being injected with it? I don't know. But it makes sense. What they're describing is the same substance they're talking about out here in Indiana. So maybe.
Investigation earlier this week detailing their operation.
Resources were mobilized from across Clark County, the city of Las Vegas, as well as our other state and federal partners, to include some from outside of our region, to ensure that this operation could be conducted safely.
But several questions remain unanswered, including who is Ori Solomon? He is the property manager whose arrest report arrived at our newsroom Tuesday morning. In it, some shocking details. Solomon is revealed to be an Israeli citizen, and based off of whistleblower statements to police and what investigators have dug up, Solomon is estimated to manage approximately 37 Airbnbs and other short-term rentals. Among those short-term rentals, according to sources, is the house on Sugar Springs.
He's 55 years old, and his initial charge was a charge of disposing and discharging hazardous waste.
That leads us to question number 2. What was Solomon's relationship with the owners? According to investigators, it is a...
Well, see, this is where I'm confused, because this guy Solomon is saying he had no idea what was going on, that they were his properties, but they were rented out. So he had no idea what they were doing there. But now, whether that was a lie or not, but that's what he was claiming in the beginning of this, that they were his properties, but he don't live at them or whatever. He just rents them out or whatever. So he had no idea what was going on there. And maybe that's true, or maybe he orchestrated it. He had over 37 properties in the USA. And how many of these people was he working with anyone else? If it was him, I mean, he might be telling the truth and had no idea what was going on. and they seen that he was from Israeli or Israel or whatever, who knows? And they're trying to pin it on him. I don't know. Maybe. It's pretty crazy if you ask me. All right, we are at 1 hour, folks. I'm going to end this video. Let's watch the end of this video, and then we'll end this video.
Extensive. One of the property owners, Jibei Zhu, also known as David Herr, is currently locked up in a California prison awaiting trial for his alleged involvement in the Reedley lab. But being holed up does not stop contact between Zhu and Solomon. Zhu is believed to have made 6,945 calls since being interred. 467 of those calls have been to Solomon. Another 3,500 calls have been to Wang Xiaoyan, the other owner of the Sugar Springs home in Las Vegas. And finally, what has happened to people living inside the home? Well, according to the whistleblower and other sources in the report, people entering the garage of the property would get deathly ill. That includes the whistleblower. While an additional remark in the report noted that a resident of the property was hospitalized with respiratory illness.
Wow.
And Fresno County leaders are addressing that disturbing discovery we just showed you out of Las Vegas because it also applies to a similar biolab discovered in Reedley almost 4 years ago.
Fox 26 Daniel Romero reports on why they're calling for now more federal oversight.
The number one message county and city officials want to reassure the public tonight is that there is no public safety threat. This comes after the FBI was at the previous illegal biolab.
Well, I don't know if we should believe him that there's no threat. 4 or 5 years ago, they busted a lab just like this. You know, how long has this been going on? Probably a long time, folks. You know, how long did it take them to figure out a kid was creating plutonium and is making a nuclear reactor or whatever? A long time. Took a long time, years went by. So I imagine that, if they knew about this 4 or 5 years ago, they probably knew about it longer than that, folks. So this has probably been going on for a long time. It's just horrible. It's just effing horrible. But now the United States is sick. Infiltrated by its own laws, by its own borders, infiltrated. That's horrible. We could use God, but it seems like he's gone crazy lately and he's just wiping everything out. Who knows? All right, we're going to finish watching this and then end it.
Biolab on Sunday, and with the recent discovery of another illegal biolab in Vegas, officials here say they weren't surprised.
Fresno County leaders stood united Tuesday addressing renewed concerns after a biological lab discovered in Las Vegas was linked to the illegal biolab in Reedley in 2022.
It took what happened a week ago in Las Vegas, I think, to open the eyes of both the FBI as well as hopefully the California Department of Public Health too, that this really is a significant issue.
The biolab held deadly pathogens along with over 1,000 transgenic mice.
That means genetically modified mice to have human components or human capabilities when you are testing them.
Destroying it was its own battle, costing $350,000 to destroy.
We had a very old local ordinance for property maintenance that allowed us to go after the property owner for those costs.
Reedley City Manager Nicole Ziba reassuring the public none of those biologicals are still in the lab, a thought many had when word got around the FBI was in Reedley.
It was a sealed search warrant, and so I cannot tell you exactly what they were looking for. What I can tell you right now is that what remains in 850 I Street after Sunday is the state embargoed medical test kits, the pregnancy tests, and the COVID tests.
The city of Reedley still protecting those materials under state control in the building that has had about 3 break-ins since 2023.
That is why we continue to press on the state of California to do something with those tests. We have had vagrants break in, we have had gang members break in, and it is up to the city of Reedley to try to protect what is embargoed by the state of California, and that is an unfair burden for the Reedley taxpayers.
City and county leaders say they had little state or federal guidance at the time and had to rely on court orders to shut the lab down and destroy materials. Now, with a similar lab uncovered in Las Vegas, officials are pushing for federal legislation to regulate private labs.
I work to complement those local efforts by introducing legislation HR 5747, the Prevent Illegal Laboratories and Protecting Public Health Act. This bipartisan legislation strengthens federal oversight and gives authorities the tools needed to identify and shut down illegal laboratory operations before they put communities at risk.
The number one question still remains: what were the intentions of operating an illegal biolab that contained deadly pathogens? That investigation is still ongoing with the FBI. In Fresno, Daniel Romero, Fox 26 News.
And the $30 million lawsuit is now dropped. David He, the man who operated the biolab, filed the lawsuit against the city of Reedley, but it now will no longer be moving forward.
No, but the citizens now of Reedley can sue them for not doing their jobs properly and finding this out. And that's, I imagine we'll be seeing a lot of lawsuits flying around. And that's another law, excuse me, to protect these people that refuse, they're incompetent, they don't know what they're doing. This has been going on for many, many years, folks. You know, and here they all were blaming someone else. It was China. You know, it was nobody but our own faults. And this is what you suffer when you have a country that has open borders. You got every color underneath the sun here. Yeah, serious problem. People think it's a joke. I'm like, it ain't no joke, folks. We were biologically hit. America was biologically hit by its own people. These people were Americans or claimed to be Americans. So it's just horrible. No, we are going to end this video. Like I said, folks, we got them even here in this apartment complex. A lot of crazy stuff's been showing up in the garbage and everything. What are they doing here? I don't know. One day I caught someone putting 50 pounds of castor beans in the lobby out here and put a free thing on. And it took me a few minutes, and then I, thought, that's a lot of castor beans. And it wasn't long after that there was a news break in Indiana about some group or something, club, whatever, organization that was boiling down castor beans and extracting the oil from it, and that's very deadly. It's called ricin. Ricin comes from castor beans. So, yeah, I mean, they've been killing us for a while, and the government's been sitting by and watching it. Some of these people ratted on the government and said it was some of these politicians that were overlooking it and paying them to do it. Like I said, there's a crazy terrorist group that's living here in this complex, or sorcery cult, whatever they're saying. Club, whatever, I don't know. But when the government can't even handle this situation, other people do. And when other people do, this is what you got. The biological war on the streets in America. It's just crazy. Well, God, all we can do here on this channel is make a movie about it and write scripts, and that's all we could do, Lord, here. I can't do what these people are doing to our world. But then again, Lord, these other people might be right. It's payback. They killed, our children, or son of man, or whatever. And people are flipping out. I don't know. Keep the cameras rolling, folks. These people are all over. They're around us. They're around you. They're around everywhere. Trespassing, witchery, it's all real, folks. This is real. Biological labs. The madness, you refused to accept the truth. It's over in America. Done. It's been for many, many, many years. I wish they only would have listened. Some of us would have still been alive. We lost a lot of good people because they wanted to say it was something other than it was a biological hit in America. And they wanted to point all the fingers at every single other country except for their own because they failed to listen to the professionals and they thought they knew it all. And here we go. We're dumping it right on your lap, White House. Right on the front porch, along with that kilo of white Peruvian poo-foo cocaine. Keep that shit out of my neighborhood. Do your jobs. Can't even protect us. You want me to give you $6 trillion and some of my best weaponry? Your children wouldn't give you my best technology if my life depended on it. You folks have a great night. God bless. And this is just another thing we have to worry about in America, but I'll continue to make a movie on it. You folks have been watching the Johnny Kramer Music Movie channel, where it's real life, but we got to lie to say it's not. So, welcome to madness. The whole country went Mason or Manson. The whole country's gone Manson or Jonestown or whatever. I don't know. You folks have a good day. I'll be back with more on the Guthrie case, which that's getting interesting. Now, you folks have a good day. You might want to test out there for haunted disease out there in Arizona. Same thing that killed Gene Hackman. Is this a coincidence or what? The back door left open at Hackman's and Mrs. Guthrie's house, the back door is open. Who cares? You folks have a great day. God bless.